2, which is why Nick Aldis just made the title match at the...
In a wrestling world lost amid creative confusion and corporate control, only one figure stands as WWE's last hope: Roman Reigns. His unparalleled charisma, magnetic presence, and deep connection with fans have made him the company's undisputed cornerstone. While others faltered in storytelling and vision, Reigns consistently delivered compelling performances that transcended the ring. As WWE struggles to find direction after WrestleMania 40's fallout, Reigns remains the singular force capable of restoring emotional depth and narrative coherence. This is why, amid chaos and uncertainty, only Roman Reigns can truly save WWE and reignite its creative soul. The broken promise of change. Weeks bled into months, and the cracks deepened, exposing a harsher truth. WWE had sold fans a promise of transformation, a fresh hero to lead them into a new age. But behind the curtains, a far more cynical reality was unfolding. The much-anticipated John Cena heel turn, something fans had fantasized about for years, finally arrived. Yet rather than electrifying storytelling or profound character evolution, it was mishandled with a clumsy lack of direction that made the entire angle feel like a parody rather than a genuine revolution. Cena's shocking shift to villainy was presented as a headline-grabbing stunt, great for viral clips and trending hashtags, but tragically devoid of the emotional depth and character motivation needed to truly land. It came across as performative, a superficial gesture designed to boost ratings and social media metrics instead of capturing fans' hearts and imaginations. Even the chaos Cena's heel turn was supposed to ignite felt neutered, sanitized, and inconsequential. Storylines were littered with meaningless interference and inconsistent character logic, leaving fans bewildered and disengaged. Much like Cody's reign, it became a squandered opportunity, a creative misfire, symptomatic of a system more obsessed with optics than substance. The corporate shadow, the rise of TK, and the death of creativity. Hovering ominously over this creative decay was the corporate leviathan known as TK, the new entity born from WWE's high-profile merger with Endeavor. Initially heralded as a bold business evolution destined to usher WWE into a new era of global dominance, the merger instead began suffocating the very soul of the company. Wrestling at its core is storytelling through raw physicality, an emotional theatre that thrives on legacy, passion, and human drama. But under TK's regime, WWE morphed into a sterile content factory, laser-focused on quarterly earnings, brand activations, and engagement statistics rather than characters and narrative arcs. Every creative decision felt dictated by impersonal corporate committees and data analysts rather than by passionate storytellers who understood the emotional heartbeat of wrestling. The once vibrant weekly shows, Raw and SmackDown, were stripped of their vitality and became fragmented content blocks, cold and disconnected from one another. Segments no longer built upon each other to tell a coherent story. Instead, they felt like isolated social media posts designed to maximize clicks and shares. The emotional core that sustained WWE for decades, the palpable connection between heroes and villains, fans and wrestlers, evaporated, replaced by sterile marketing strategies and sponsorship obligations. The Rock's return. Star power versus creative vision. Amidst this creative freefall, another seismic force began to shape WWE's backstage landscape. The return of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Once the electrifying and unifying face of the company, his comeback quickly devolved into a chaotic storm of political power struggles and backstage influence games. Far from a triumphant homecoming, The Rock's presence became a divisive force that undermined the very foundation Triple H was trying to solidify. Fans had pinned their hopes on Triple H as the savior who would lead WWE out of its creative wilderness, but the reality was far bleaker. The Rock's immense star power and vast business connections gave him a level of backstage clout that frequently clashed with Triple H's vision for a creatively liberated WWE. This tug of war fractured the product, leaving it rudderless and inconsistent. Long-term storytelling plans were discarded for short-term spectacle. Emotional story arcs dissolved into forgettable pop culture crossovers, and celebrity cameos flooded the card at the expense of wrestling substance. WrestleMania 41. A creative collapse on the grandest stage. Nowhere was this creative dysfunction more evident than at WrestleMania 41. Expected to build on the momentum of WrestleMania 40 and cement WWE's next evolutionary chapter, the event instead laid bare the company's profound loss of direction. While the triple threat main event featuring CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns delivered a thrilling masterclass in storytelling and athleticism, the rest of the card felt painfully forgettable and emotionally hollow. Matches happened, entrances dazzled, and outcomes were scripted. But the soul, the passion, the feeling that this was the culmination of a year's worth of storytelling was entirely absent. The show resembled a content showcase designed for spectacle over substance, leaving fans emotionally disconnected and creatively underserved. Triple H, from creative savior to corporate figurehead. One of the most heartbreaking casualties of this decline was Triple H himself. Once hailed as the creative architect who would revive WWE's emotional core after years of Vince McMahon's erratic leadership, he soon found himself caught in a brutal crossfire between corporate executives, legacy stars, and shifting priorities. His early tenure sparked hope, longer matches, improved promos, logical booking. But as the TK corporate machine tightened its grip, Triple H's influence diminished. He became less a visionary leader and more a figurehead, a placating presence meant to reassure fans even as the company drifted further from his ideals. The WWE he dreamed of, character-driven, emotionally resonant, a true wrestling drama, was incompatible with Endeavor's profit-maximizing, brand-obsessed vision. WWE became a product churned out for algorithms and engagement stats, reducing storytelling to formulaic content bites. The absurdity of pop culture over substance. This corporate sterilization of wrestling's soul reached an absurd peak with the involvement of Grammy-winning rapper Travis Scott. Once seen as a potential bridge to new audiences, his role quickly became symbolic of WWE's larger creative problems. A flashy, surface-level distraction masking a deeper void. Rather than elevating storylines or adding meaningful layers to character arcs, Scott's involvement felt like a desperate ploy to chase trending topics and social media buzz, further diluting the integrity of the wrestling product.